Hi everybody. So I was asked a little while ago about my easel. The person in question who asked about it is thinking about buying one and they were unsure of what kind to get. While I don't know that I'm necessarily qualified to tell you what you should get, I will show you what I have and what I like and don't like about it. I'm not going to be buying another one. I have one. It works. I've jimmied it to work. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So first I'm going to take this big board off. This is a large clipboard. You can get this at any art supply store. I got this at Michael's. And I usually have this on my easel, and I'll tell you why in a minute. On the clipboard, I have a piece of sticky back Velcro, the rough side, stuck to the board. And then I have a piece of the soft side hanging here, and I use that to attach to the back of smaller canvases when I'm painting on a smaller canvas, and I can just Velcro them right here to the board. And we'll go over why exactly I do that in just a minute. So this is my easel. Now, while this easel works really great for what it is, and it does have one large center support and two smaller side supports, it's not great. I don't know what else to say. So I wish I had gotten an easel with larger side supports here. Maybe ones that were spread farther apart or ones that were taller. The problem is when you're working on a really big canvas on here, it tends to wobble this way. And it's a little bit unstable, even if it's clamped down. Now, I also have boards jammed in here, and at this point, I think it's painted in. There is a little ledge here. And this is actually a piece of wood that you use to mount rubber stamps to. And let me see if I can pop it off with a hammer. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So it's a piece of wood. There's a channel here in the easel, and I tend to do a lot of dripping and spraying and messy painting, and my problem is that the canvas sinks down into this piece of wood, and I never could quite get the bottom of it, the canvas painted, and or the paint would drip down there and it would stick and get stuck. And this ledge is kind of in my way. So rather than have my husband chop it off, which I could have done, and have him smooth this out and level it and take this like half-inch lip off of here, he wasn't home one day, and I don't do power saws. So I had this piece of wood. It fits in right here like this. And it actually tilts it back just a little bit at an angle like this, so that any dripping that I do kind of goes back. It does go into the channel, and it would go necessarily onto the floor, but what I do is I put a piece of chamois in here and it catches everything. And I usually put a piece of drop paper on the floor so that whatever does drip, it catches down there. All right. Then I usually have this board jammed in here. There's grooves up here in this top piece, so I make sure it's in one of those grooves, and then I push down and screw it in tight. And then I just make sure that's really in there really well and it's not going to wobble. And then I don't have to worry about my canvas doing too much wobbling this way. And if I want to work on a smaller piece, I can do that, and I still have all of this extra margin around the side to tape my inspiration photos to. Sometimes I'll do 5-minute practice. So any face drawing class or life drawing class that you take, most of them have a 5-minute lesson. Some kind of a timed lesson. It really loosens you up, especially if you're taking an expressive painting class. I have one in my painting class over at Crazy Island University, and I've taken a lot of classes with a lot of different teachers. They all have, almost all of them have some kind of timed lesson. And the timed lesson is great because it really loosens you up, but you really get really loose if you do more than one of them at a time. So I usually do like 9 of them or 12 of them, and I'll do them on little small 4x6 cards, and I'll tape all the cards to my board. I'll set my timer, and then I can just paint. And it's easy to just have them all lined up here and just paint on them. By the time usually pretty tight when you do the first one, and by the time you get to that last one, you're pretty good and loose. So today I have to set my easel up because I'm going to be working on a lesson for a class I'm taking with Pauline Agnew. If you don't know who she is, she's a really great artist that has some fabulous online painting classes for beginners and advanced students. You can find out more about her at paulineagnew.com. I'm going to be working on a piece of watercolor paper, so I thought I would show you. I thought this was a good time to do this because I have to set up my easel to do this lesson. So I've got some blue painter's tape and some watercolor paper. I'm going to be working with acrylics, but I like to use watercolor paper because it's nice and thick and sturdy. This is 140 pound Strathmore yellow pad watercolor paper. And I'm going to try to tape off about a 1/2 inch all the way around the edge of my paper. And that way when I pull the painting off, there'll be a little bit of a border. I would love to have one of those studios where you could just do this on a wall. I know Pauline has one of those in Ireland, and she just tapes her paper to the studio wall. I don't have that because I'm in a bedroom in the house. So I love having this board on my easel, though, because I was able to modify this easel to work for me, and I have this nice large flat surface that I can either attach a canvas to for stability and paint on a canvas, or I can attach paper to, so I really love that. Alright. Okay, and then what I would do is take my inspiration photo, or photos if I have more than one, and attach them on the margins on the side, and I'm ready to go. I just need to get my paints out and get working on my assignment. So I hope that gave you some ideas of what you can do. I did buy my easel when it was on sale. I waited for my local fine art supply store to have a big sale. I think they were 60% off or something. This is a solid hardwood easel. They're not inexpensive, so wait for them to go on sale. Figure out what your maximum budget is, buy what you can afford, and then if you have the same problem I do, get one of these giant clipboards. Wasn't very expensive, and again, I used a 40% off coupon at Michael's to get it, and then modify it accordingly. I hope that works for you and gives you some ideas of what you can do. Don't forget to go out and have a great day. Do something nice for yourself because you deserve it, and I'll see you later.